Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Marvell Technology. It is time for another update, and today we'll be discussing the structure that is still expected to extend lower within this wave 4 correction. But before that, I would like to go quickly through the larger time frame for any of you who might be new. And here we have been tracking this idea of a large leading diagonal that is expected to form the entire 5-wave move to the upside. Now, this is not a must. It would be ideal to build this pattern because then over the long term, we would have a reliable trade setup in something like a wave 1 up and a wave 2 correction, and that would be very, very interesting. But as of now, we need to be expecting a larger third wave still to occur, because within this structure, I believe we still need to push a little higher within this wave 3. We have not yet reached the ideal target for such a structure, and there still is room actually for another wave to the upside. So within this wave 3, I would expect to get to at least the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. That is around the $254.53 level. Within this structure, since we are tracking a leading diagonal, we expect to build an ABC pattern. That actually works fine if we consider this to be an A wave up, a B wave down, and a C wave that would extend within this area, because within the wave C, I would still heavily prefer an extension within this wave 4 correction and another high. Considering the proportions, the wave 2 correction, we would still need to push lower within this wave 4. It would very much work out also due to the fact that we have an initial 5-wave move to the downside within this area that I'm considering. And in such a scenario, I would heavily prefer that we extend within a larger ABC structure in a zigzag correction. We had here this red area of resistance to track. We weren't necessarily needing it to form a full stop for this uptrend, but it certainly did manage to slow it down, and we managed to get stopped by the larger area of resistance. We had here the red area for structural resistance. We had here a very significant top that has formed, and we had here the area of resistance up to the 78.6% retracement at the $103 level. If we manage to break it, we should expect a more significant bottom to already be in place within the wave 4. But as long as we are below it, that we should be prepared for further continuation within the larger wave 4 correction. Now, in this structure, we were considering already a possible top within this wave B at this point, but there was also the possibility of an extension higher. Now, that was actually even preferred because within the wave A, we did have also a leading diagonal to the upside. We had an initial 5-wave move to the upside that we were considering for a retracement in a wave B correction that managed to hold and extend higher. So right now, we have a very clear 3-wave pattern into the larger area of resistance. I wouldn't necessarily consider this yellow interpretation would still need to push higher, and I would be strongly prepared for a larger correction to the downside. Within this time frame, I wouldn't even look for an area of support or extensions higher. I would instead focus on the resistance levels that we would have that would allow us to track continuation lower, but would also provide us a signal that this structure has already formed a likely bottom. Now, we are focusing specifically on this wave C to the downside. Within it, we can even look for an ideal target. That is the 100% extension of the wave A around the $38 level based on the current top within the wave B. Now, of course, this is an ideal target. It doesn't need to get there, but it also doesn't need to stop there. In the end, I would expect within this wave C to form a 5-wave move to the downside. Now, exactly how that unfolds, I cannot tell you as of now, because I could consider this to be an initial wave 1 down, and to already be within the larger wave 3, I could consider the initial wave 1 to still be forming here in a larger 1, 2, 3, 4th and a 5th. Although this could have even more bearish implications. We would have to form quite a large initial wave 1 to the downside in such a case, and then we would still need a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a 5th wave that could take us to very significant lows. Now, this wouldn't necessarily pose a problem because within the larger area of support for this wave 4 correction, we have room all the way down to the $22 level before we need to consider invalidation. This is not a problem. We can track such a large extension lower, but I would probably prefer to get towards the 100% extension of the wave A within this wave C, not necessarily exceed it that much. It would allow us to track even a more reliable structure, and in the end, we will not be able to determine or to choose what will happen. We will only be able to track the actual patterns. Now, within this area, as I was mentioning, I'm tracking this as an initial wave 1 down. Here we have a wave 2 up. We pushed again into the last level of resistance within this red area, and we extended lower. Now, could I consider this to be a complete correction? Well, technically, yes, this could work out as an ABC structure, but for this, I would need a signal. I would need a break above the levels of resistance within this internal 1-2 setup that I would track in this area. And for this, let's even track it within a different color just to have more clarity. I would be watching here the levels between the $84.6 all the way up to the $90.8 level. As long as we don't manage to break above the last level of resistance, I would still be expecting with high probability continuation lower. I would not be looking for a bottom to be in place. I still consider there to be significant risk for this chart to extend lower. And of course, the chart and the market can do what it wants at all times, but we are talking about probabilities here. The probabilities suggest that we should be prepared for a larger correction, a larger extension to the downside, which could very well be formed by this impulse within a wave 3 in this area. And I can provide you here an ideal target for the larger wave 3 in white. It's not even that far necessarily. It's at the 138.2% extension of the wave 1 at the $68 level. Now, as for this wave 2 correction, I believe we would still be within it. I expect to form a 3-wave pattern into this area. Now, it doesn't need to be the first 3-wave move. We could form a larger ABC structure, something like this that could take us even to quite high levels within this correction. But again, as long as we stay below this area of resistance, I wouldn't expect a breakout, and I would be heavily prepared for further continuation lower, as we are actually able even to track an impulse within this structure, yeah? And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.